Andrew, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested. Now, the suggestion is that police have arrived at the former prince's home.
Today's arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor mean for the future of the British monarchy? What does it mean for Charles? What does it mean for William? What does it mean for Harry and Meghan?
The fact is that this isn't actually about Andrew anymore. This is now about what the king knew and when he knew it. And that is the question that destroyed Nixon. And I think that your viewers are completely right. I think we are on a road that could definitely lead to abdication.
Britain just sent shockwaves across the globe as a royal figure came under unprecedented scrutiny on the king's private estate. Imagine the scene: centuries of tradition, glittering palaces, and centuries of privilege suddenly colliding with the cold glare of attention. The brother of the reigning King of England became the center of a storm nobody saw coming. Across the ocean, in a sun-drenched Montecito mansion, two British royals watched the drama unfold, quietly tense. They leaned back, appearing calm, but inside, their minds were racing.
This is not a development I expected quite so quickly. I welcome it. It's in many ways long overdue. There's been so much evidence mounting against him. And I was very concerned that he would do a midnight flit and evade justice.
I think that it had to have been planned for a while because there has been a lot of uprising around people in general in Great Britain. It's been, people have been seeing consequences.
But justice is also supposed to be blind. You know, the symbol of justice, she's blindfolded. And so if Andrew has been arrested,
Andrew's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to be banished, just like William and just like Harry and Meghan have to be banished.
If the world starts asking the same questions Britain asked, everything Harry and Meghan have built could start to shift, crumble even. And they know it. Every calculated smile, every quiet glance betrays it. Let's lay this out side by side because television barely scratches the surface. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, born British, raised in palaces that most people only dream of, funded by public privilege, moving through a world of rare access, suddenly found himself completely exposed. Every protective wall, every invisible safety net, gone. It's the kind of vulnerability most people never experience in a lifetime.
For, I think, a prosecution to be mounted, and it does appear that justice will be served.
It somehow felt like a historic hammer blow all the same. On the morning of his 66th birthday, Thames Valley Police arrived en masse at the King's Sandringham estate to arrest his brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor at the Wood Farm cottage occupied by the late Prince Philip in his dying days.
Absolutely informed. I saw him give an interview saying, he didn't really want to address that, and his response was not very convincing.
Now take Harry Mountbatten Windsor. Same birthright, same royal upbringing, same glittering palaces, same access, same events, same social universe. From grand balls to private ceremonies, the same rooms, the same traditions, the same glittering world of privilege. The difference between Andrew and Harry? It's not about who they are, it's about where they planted their roots. Geography became destiny. Harry chose California, a place known for sun, surf, and a very different approach to accountability. He didn't move to Canada or Europe, where scrutiny might be sharper. No.
that would have shown an even-handedness that would have been very comforting to those of us who would like to see this situation dealt with in an apolitical and a measured way that has nothing to do with politics. Because at the moment, you have the present government, which is in fact in a state of civil war with the centrist and right wing of the government, of the Labour Party, being gobbled up by the left wing, the blue group.
He picked the place where he could build a life with a different set of rules. And yet, no one ever seems to question why. Harry's 20s were a wild ride, big parties, Las Vegas trips, and moments captured that sparked headlines around the world. But the bigger story is the world those moments happened in. Harry wasn't just mingling with ordinary crowds. He was moving through extreme wealth, exclusive access, and private circles the public can barely imagine. A world of luxury, influence, and secrecy that most people only glimpse through news stories or glossy magazines.
This Labour government is in huge trouble. And also arresting him on his birthday. I mean, how pathetic is that? You know, they didn't have to arrest him on his birthday. But even if you say, okay, they arrested him on his birthday, why arrest him at all when they could have simply done it under caution? But if they questioned him under caution, you wouldn't have the headlines, the sensational headlines, which have gone all over the world.
During those years, Harry called Clarence House and later Kensington Palace home. He attended the same royal functions as Andrew, moved in the same social orbit, and shared the same elite universe. They weren't distant cousins. They were family navigating the same institution, the same glittering stage, the same social universe at the same exact moment. And yet the outcomes couldn't be more different. Andrew faced the consequences for choices made within that world, while Harry's memoirs detailed personal habits, family arguments, and intimate struggles, but carefully avoided certain sensitive areas.
He didn't really want to address that, and his response was not very convincing, you know, because he would have been alerted by the private secretary because Dickie Arbiter was the PR person. So they both would have sat down and said, okay, we cannot let this reach the monarch. We have to deal with this crisis ourselves. That's how they prepare. I know because I work with a couple of royal households and I was always shocked. And I was like, I mean, I was thinking, how is the monarch going to react when he finds out that his son did this X and Y and Z, right? I'm not talking about the British monarch.
Not a single line, no denials, no clarifications, nothing. He's never been asked to account for what he saw or experienced in those circles. The contrast is glaring, undeniable, and almost cinematic. One brother confronted the storm head on, while the other glided through the same world untouched, unchallenged. That imbalance, that asymmetry, it's something everyone should notice. The story isn't just about privilege. It's about how environments, choices, and geography shape how consequences play out in ways most of us could never imagine. Think about the timing, not the romanticized version, but the cold, hard facts.
Royal family attempted business as usual today, but of course, that just wasn't possible. By lunchtime, Buckingham Palace delivered a historic statement from King Charles, one he never wanted to release, given claims he contributed £1.5 million to pay off Virginia Giuffre, and given his decision to ludicrously try and bring Andrew and even Fergie back into the fold. But it was a historic statement which read,
Harry and Meghan announced their departure from royal duties in January 2020. By that point, the world was already buzzing with scandals and stories about elite circles. Anyone with access to top-tier legal guidance understood that moving carefully was critical, and Harry has always had the best advice money and influence can buy. So they chose California, the land of opportunity, sunshine, and tight-knit celebrity networks. American institutions and major documents exist, detailing countless high-profile circles, but many names that have circulated in public records remain untouched on American soil. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan spent the next 4 years embedding themselves into the most insulated, elite corners of American society, the celebrity tier. Not just celebrities, but the philanthropic and influential tiers too. Think high-level donors, socialites, and people whose lives are often protected by wealth and reputation.
Police that arrested Andrew earlier today. I'll read it to you in full. Thames Valley Police is able to provide an update in relation to an investigation into the offence of misconduct in public office. On Thursday, we arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The arrested man has now been released under investigation. We can also confirm that our searches in Norfolk have now concluded.
These are circles where scrutiny tends to be light and influence runs deep. Harry's team is counting on the fact that most people won't trace the connections across continents. Even if Britain wanted to request cooperation from California, there are legal systems in place, slow and complicated, but fully existing. And Harry's lawyers know exactly how it works. California might seem like a fortress, but remember, Andrew had his own fortress too. His was built from royal blood, family loyalty, and centuries of tradition. And it didn't hold when pressure came. The lesson? Even the most protected walls can crack.
But also, if this will eventually lead to a charge. And he will be being told, Lady C, by his legal team to say nothing. Is that the right decision in this case?
Because of his position, because he still has his position whether he has the princely rank or not, he's still the second son of a reigning British monarch. I think that he has a responsibility not only to himself and his immediate family, but to the royal family itself. And in a situation like this, I suspect the wisest thing.
Now let's talk about Meghan, not the past, but the present. Since arriving in America, she's built an empire. Netflix deals, business ventures, media networks, and the Archwell Foundation. Every move, every partnership has been designed to secure her place at the top tiers of California society. Take a look at who moves in that world. Entertainment executives, tech billionaires, philanthropists, even people rubbing shoulders with heads of state. Many of these names have existed quietly in elite circles for years. Not accusations, not charges, just the ecosystem of extreme wealth and influence. Observers have noted patterns. Serious investigators have seen how these networks intersect with high-profile philanthropic work. The people most visibly associated with charitable causes, health, education, social impact, often overlap with the same circles of extreme privilege.
Problem for the king is there's an awful lot of pus which might come out as a result of doing that. So we've no idea what the evidence that might be revealed will say. But somebody said earlier on, and this is absolutely right, that once the legal process starts and searches are made, all sorts of other inconvenient facts might be revealed and lead in all sorts of directions, some of which we are not aware of at all as yet. So it's a very, very difficult situation for the entire royal family to be in.
Meghan's entire American identity is built around these causes. The Archwell Foundation raises huge sums, builds connections, and keeps her deeply woven into California's elite circles. The donor lists aren't fully public, and the connections run deep, making her a permanent fixture in these protected social tiers. Who funds these ventures? Who benefits from her remaining relevant, credible, and untouchable in these circles? These aren't accusations. They are legitimate questions about how influence, visibility, and protection operate in elite networks. Serious people now ask these questions about every powerful network in these high-level circles, and Meghan's network deserves the same scrutiny. Here's the truth. This story was never really about royals. Your generation grew up hearing, nobody is above the law. You saw it in classrooms, in courtrooms, and in history books. But over decades, many learned that the promise of fairness can change depending on money, influence, and who you know. And that's the reality we're examining here right now in plain sight. Let's dive deeper into the world they've created in California. Harry and Meghan didn't just relocate, they embedded themselves in a social ecosystem designed for influence, protection, and visibility. Every event they attend, every foundation launch, every high-profile collaboration isn't random. It's calculated to secure a permanent position among the most protected circles in American society.
That statement from the lawyer was so smartly worded. It was vague, and it was vague by design. So that's why I think it was a warning to Meghan. If I sit here with my professional PR hat on, looking at that statement, they go through so many drafts, and it's, up to kind of 5-10 people around a table drafting that. Every single word in a legal statement holds weight.
Think about it. Celebrity galas, exclusive charity dinners, private fundraising events, media launches, all carefully orchestrated opportunities to be seen with the right people. These are the same circles where wealth and reputation act like invisible shields. No ordinary person could navigate this world without guidance, connections, or insider knowledge.
I will preface all this to say that when it comes to the monarchy, this is not the end. This Andrew situation, even if he's arrested, it's not going to end for the royals. In fact, there's going to be longer, greater, graver consequences, I think, perhaps to come down the line.
My first thought is that the king has made the statement that we heard just earlier. That does not surprise me at all. Not at all.
But Harry and Meghan, they stepped in like pros, building networks faster than most people even notice. And it's not just about money or fame. It's about power in subtle forms. The Archwell Foundation, for example, is more than a philanthropic project. It's a gateway. Every donor, every partner, every collaborator expands their reach into new corners of influence.
He's head of state. He's at the apex. He is the crown in this respect. So were there to be a trial, were there to be a charge, it would be in the name of the crown of the king. But it would be in character as well. He made it very clear earlier that he would cooperate with the Thames Valley Police were there to be any questions that they would like him to answer. So I think that it demonstrates the oddly, perversely, if you like, because people talk about the damage to the royal family.
California elites pay attention when someone shows they can command that level of access and credibility. Now let's consider the broader picture. These networks, tech titans, entertainment moguls, philanthropists, aren't isolated. They interconnect with political donors, thought leaders, and media influencers. Each connection strengthens the web of influence. And Harry and Meghan, they've woven themselves right into the center. Observers have noticed how every strategic move reinforces their social positioning and creates layers of protection that keep them insulated from scrutiny.
Now, Lowney said the cops also needed to move quickly because there are fears that papers had been destroyed since December. However, a lot of you have said, oh, Lowney wants to bring down the monarchy. He also said that this decision to arrest Andrew today will end up saving the monarchy.
But there's drama in the details. Even within these circles, alliances shift, reputations rise and fall, and every decision matters. Meghan's ventures, from streaming projects to philanthropic campaigns, are constantly under a microscope, even if the public barely sees it. Every event she attends, every executive she meets, every campaign she launches adds a new thread to her social tapestry, making her presence permanent and undeniable. And it's not just about being seen, it's about being untouchable. In this environment, visibility is a tool, but so is privacy. Carefully curated networks, selective partnerships, and a deep understanding of who holds influence keep them operating at the top. Harry and Meghan have built a system where attention and protection go hand in hand, where credibility is currency, and where every move reinforces their position. This is why the story isn't really about royals. It's about understanding how elite networks operate. It's about influence, connections, and strategic placement. It's about seeing how a carefully constructed social web can create opportunity, visibility, and protection all at once. And when you see it laid out like this, you start to understand how they become such a permanent fixture in the top tiers of California society. And here's the kicker. While the world debates titles, ceremonies, and headlines, the real story is happening behind the scenes. The networks, the partnerships, the foundations, the events, all of it is a masterclass in social positioning. Those who know how to navigate these circles thrive, while outsiders only glimpse fragments of the picture. Harry and Meghan are no strangers to strategy, and their story shows exactly how influence works when it's executed with precision. You've seen powerful systems fail ordinary people before. Think back to 2008. Entire financial empires collapsed. People lost their savings, yet the people at the top walked away with golden parachutes instead of consequences. And in other industries, the elite protected their own, while the rest of the world looked away, shocked, but powerless. History has a way of repeating itself, but this week felt different. A royal figure, long believed untouchable because of blood, status, and privilege, suddenly faced the impossible.
He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you. Lauren, you have been very disturbed to see the way many of the accusers have been treated over the past decade. What do you make of this statement from the Giuffre family saying Andrew was never a prince?
His own family member treated him like a stranger, and the protective walls that were supposed to shield him shattered. It was a moment that proved nothing. No amount of title, no lineage, no fortune is truly beyond scrutiny. That shift changes the game, not just for him, but for anyone operating within elite circles. For Harry and Meghan, the immunity they've relied on now looks fragile, not just unfair. It's maintained only because institutions choose to look away every single day. And your generation knows exactly what that means. You've seen it happening for your entire lives. Here's something almost no one has discussed, and it matters. Harry spent years carefully building relationships in elite British circles, using connections, trust, and social strategy to establish influence. The networks he relied on, the people who validated him, amplified his story, and gave him credibility, those same networks are now facing turmoil. Figures who once championed the Sussexes' departure, portraying it as bold and courageous, are suddenly stepping back, reassessing, and navigating a rapidly changing environment. Allies who offered protection, credibility, and influence are being tested like never before, revealing how fragile even the most carefully constructed social safety nets can be. Harry's ongoing battles, the challenges he has managed in the UK, are now unfolding in a completely different landscape. The political and social environment that once supported him is shifting rapidly, leaving gaps where protection once existed. Relationships built over years are being re-examined, influence questioned, and credibility tested.
I think the thing that is so fascinating about this story is that the British monarchy has always kind of looked for its enemies in external places. It's always looked at the mob, at Parliament, at foreign powers, at guillotines, at hangmen. Do you know what I mean? All those stories of the monarchy. And in fact, it turns out that over and over and over again.
Meanwhile, investigations and inquiries in elite British networks are ramping up. Complex networks of influence, long shielded from public view, are now being scrutinized in ways that could uncover connections, documents, and testimonies that no one fully anticipated. Every layer of the network is being examined, every alliance reconsidered, and every past decision reevaluated. Harry built a careful system of protection over many years, but as the world changes, he is watching it transform from afar in California. What was once a secure foundation now feels like shifting sand. This week has shown that even the most well-planned strategies can be exposed to forces beyond control, and that the ripple effects of one event can reach further than anyone expects. The lesson is clear. No system, no network, and no carefully built social safety net is immune to scrutiny forever. The world can change fast, and when it does, everyone, even those long protected, must navigate the consequences. And now, Harry and Meghan are facing the reality of operating in a world where the rules they counted on are shifting before their eyes. Now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Harry and Meghan's story isn't just about fame, privilege, or the royal titles. They're operating inside a world where influence, visibility, and protection are currency. Every connection, every foundation, every strategic move builds a network designed to shield them and amplify their presence. Since arriving in California, they've been embedding themselves in a world most people can only dream of.
The real danger is from within. It's from these disgusting, entitled, abusive people within abusing their own power. And that is where the crises keep arriving from, keep coming from. You know, whether it's Andrew or Edward VIII or Harry or George, Duke of Clarence, you know, whoever you want to do, you can go back in time as far as you like.
The entertainment elite, tech billionaires, philanthropy power players, and social influencers. Each event they attend, each partnership they form, strengthens their network and adds another layer of insulation from public scrutiny. And they do it with precision, almost like a chess game played across continents. The reality is this: in elite circles, appearances matter as much as actions. Every gala, every fundraiser, every media collaboration is a move in a game where credibility, relevance, and visibility are everything. Meghan's ventures, from streaming projects to her foundation, are carefully positioned to maintain her status and influence. It's not random. It's a strategy executed with discipline and foresight. But strategy alone isn't enough. Influence is also about timing, optics, and relationships. Harry has cultivated key social, business, and cultural allies over the years, building a safety net designed to weather storms. Yet as pieces 1 to 4 have shown, even the strongest networks can be tested. Walls can crumble, allies can shift, and reputations can be challenged. That's the danger and the reality of playing in these high-stakes social arenas. Meanwhile, the world around them is changing. Investigations, inquiries, and public attention are reshaping the environment they once counted on. Every new story, every new connection revealed in public records, every ripple from past events forces recalibration. And the higher up the network goes, the more careful one has to be. Because even a small crack can grow into a major challenge. Yet despite all this, Harry and Meghan continue to expand their influence. Foundations, media projects, public appearances, they're not just surviving in these elite circles, they're thriving. They've built systems that protect their reputation while keeping them relevant and visible in the places that matter most. Every handshake, every partnership, every social interaction adds another layer of strength and insulation. But here's the lesson for everyone watching. These networks, no matter how carefully built, are always exposed to change. The walls that protect influence can shift overnight, alliances can dissolve, and public perception can alter everything. That's the tension that drives their story, and why every move they make is both strategic and scrutinized. In the end, this isn't really about titles or royal duties. It's about strategy, positioning, and navigating a world where visibility and influence are the ultimate currency. Harry and Meghan's story shows how elite social networks function, how protection is maintained, and how power is exercised in subtle, calculated ways. And while the headlines focus on fame and controversy, the real story is the game behind the scenes. The foundations, the partnerships, the strategic collaborations, this is where the influence truly lies. For anyone observing, it's a masterclass in building, maintaining, and operating inside high-level networks that protect, elevate, and sustain power. Legal experts say what has been released so far is just the tip of the iceberg. What's coming next could dwarf everything we've already seen, opening doors to new names, new connections, and new revelations that will ripple through elite circles everywhere. Every new release expands the circle, every expansion adds fresh faces, and a new British government after May will face enormous public pressure to act decisively. Unlike past administrations that stalled, the incoming leadership will see accountability not as a threat, but as an opportunity, a chance to show transparency and take control. And quietly, behind the scenes, the legal mechanisms exist. Extradition treaties, formal procedures, and systems designed to request cooperation are all in place. Harry's team knows this. They check and prepare for it regularly. That's what excellent lawyers do when their client is a British national living in another country, surrounded by a web of elite networks. Meanwhile, history offers a cautionary tale. Andrew relied on walls built of royal blood, family loyalty, and long-standing tradition. A mother who adored him, centuries of custom, and inherited protection. None of it held when pressure came. The walls crumbled, exposing vulnerabilities everyone assumed were impossible to breach. Harry and Meghan built different walls, newer, stronger, more carefully engineered. Their lawyers are sharp, their networks deeper, and their connections rooted in the most influential circles in America. But even the best walls show cracks eventually. And this week, those first cracks have appeared. Small at first, almost imperceptible. But anyone who has watched a wall fall knows that it always starts small. Britain has already made a bold statement. A royal long protected by centuries of tradition, named publicly and without hesitation. That alone is a historic moment. And in California, two people who carefully crafted their escape on the assumption that the American system would stay quiet are watching very closely. They remain calm publicly, perfectly controlled, but behind the carefully curated lifestyle and brand image, the calculations are happening. Lawyers are reviewing files. Allies are reassessing. Every document released, every public move, every shift in the broader network is being studied with precision. The walls they built are strong, but the first cracks are a reminder that no system is ever completely impervious. And here's the question everyone is asking. Does Harry know more about the inner workings of these elite circles than he's ever publicly admitted? The truth is likely far more complex than anyone realizes, and the coming months may reveal just how deep those networks really go. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.